So in this video, basically what I'm going to cover is things they've screwed up in Seattle Center, size of traffic, which you can see. Now you have trouble telling that I'm in Seattle right now because it's actually not raining. So this is very rare. It was raining yesterday, the day before that, and the day before that. It's actually, if you look outside, it's not raining. We're right by 45th. We're going to go right on 45th, and then we're going down to the U District. So anyways, you see all these new developments. I never knew what they meant, but I guess they call it gentrification or something like that as a terminology. And there's all this new development in housing which really screwed up the traffic. But what else did it screw up? This is a list of things they screwed up. They screwed up the Seattle Center. And they used to have a fun forest park. They used to have rides. They used to have like a gondola thingy that went from one end to the other. And my best, longest kiss I've ever had in my life, I don't remember her name. I think she's from Bellevue. I don't remember why it was, but it was just like the best kiss I'd ever had. It was on the bottom of that thing. That's gone. All the rides, everything. I used to play these different games where you win like a little toy or stuffed animal or a record or something like that. They got rid of all of that. They screwed up the Seattle Center. And worst of all, they got rid of the Bubbulator! The Bubbulator! It had been there since 1962. It was the one thing that I looked forward to as a stoned infant. And no! They get rid of the Bubbulator. So here we are, we're going through the U District. See all the gentrification? All this new housing. All this new housing. And no parking! See it? See it? The road isn't built. It's not designed. Look at all that new housing. All those new buildings. All that gentrification. All those apartments and all that stuff. And no roads to drive on. No subway to go on. Just a bunch of morons that are engineers and developers that should all be fired for creating a big traffic jam that's going to get worse. So they ruin the traffic, they ruin the Seattle Center. Seattle has the worst parking of anywhere I've ever been, and I've lived in Tokyo and some big cities. I've never been in New York. But, you know, I mean, for the size of the city, they messed up the parking everywhere. And I've been to, like last night, I went to this one club in this area where I would never normally go at night. In the CD, or I think it was Columbia Center they called it, and I would normally never go there at night, and I would normally never park my car on a dark street at night in that area, ever. And I did last night, nothing happened, that's cool, all aces on that. But what they did was they gentrified the whole area. They kicked all the poor people out, all the rich people and their businesses moved in, and they didn't build a parking lot. I mean, even worse. Insult to injury, that's even worse. You're kicking out the poor, you don't give them a place to live, and then you frickin' don't even build a parking lot for the rich. So they've screwed that up. You know I'm in Seattle because of the Neptune Theater. That's still there. Some good things are still there. They used to have the Rocky Horror Picture Show there. It was like well, you can Google that, but they always had like it was some night of the week they had the Rocky Horror Picture Show, and then they would have like people that would dress in the different characters of the movie that they ran over the Rocky Horror Picture Show, the movie, the cult movie that they ran hundreds of millions of times ago, and all that stuff. So, anyways, they've screwed up the parking. Everybody's moved in. It's more crowded. The people that are paying taxes for the development, the developers and all that stuff aren't paying the money, neither are the corporations that are hiring everybody and all that stuff. I can't blame somebody for moving here and wanting a job. Okay, so what else have they screwed up? They screwed up the parking, they've screwed up the roads, they sank the floating bridge that I drove over at 140 plus miles an hour. At like 6 or 7 p.m. that would normally be choked up with traffic, but it was years ago before the darn thing sank. The Kingdome, What else did they screw up? Technology has turned everybody into an introvert. Seattle used to be really sociable, outgoing city. You could talk to strangers anywhere about anything at any time. A couple hotties from you. You could talk about anything to anybody at any time you wanted to, but that's all been ruined by social media. Everybody lives in their own little social media world. And they don't go outside their own little bubble. And Facebook won't let you add people you don't know. What's that for socializing, huh? You never get out of your circle. You stay stuck in your own little world. So Facebook sucks. And they tried to penalize me or disband me for trying to add people I don't know that have fake profiles. Half of them have fake profiles anyways. And online dating. When you meet them in person, you realize why they just had a tight close-up picture of their face, because the rest of their body looks totally different. And you didn't know that online, or they were married, or whatever. So they've screwed that up. They've screwed up the parking, the people, the social atmosphere. They've screwed up. The crime, they've improved. The crime has gotten a lot better. There's a lot more crime there. And yeah, the thing they screwed up with the pot is they made the pot legal, and they didn't make the heroin legal. They didn't make the cocaine legal. They didn't make the Oxycontins and the prescribed pharmaceuticals that are legal if you have a good doctor. Here we go. Check it out. College beauties. It's all good. So anyways, yeah. I think even that building there is new from when I used to come here and all that stuff. So they basically they've screwed up Seattle on many different areas. Here's someone's from Idaho that doesn't have a clue that's like holding me up. Cutie there. Time to go back to college, I guess. They're looking good. And then people like this moron behind me that is from somewhere else. They're not even from this country. And they're freaking tailgating me in their Porsche. You know, so how did that happen? Yep. The bus system. The bus system's about the one thing that is actually okay in Seattle as far as transportation. Yeah. We're going down 45th right now. We're at University of Washington. Look at this frickin' piece of work in front of me. Look at this piece of work! Now anyways, the University of Washington, I used to, back in the day, we'd get in a van and we'd go from the high part of campus, we'd listen to Ted Nugent, stoned out of our brains, all the way up to the high point of campus, and then we'd skateboard all the way down. And this down here, we'd skateboard down this, and then there's another hill in Madrona, this Madrona Drive, this big long, I think that's what it was, it's like a mile-long hill. There's University Village there. That's gotten, we'll get into that. There's a cemetery. It's buried up there in that cemetery. R.I.P. She was married to my adoptive father. She put up with hell. Not just me, my adoptive father, I can tell you. Rest in peace, Vilma. But anyways, look at, they've totally, University Village, they've totally freaking completely developed it and gentrified it. You can see they're even doing more building. And now you can't even freaking park there. You used to be able to find a parking spot in U Village. We're going to see about finding a parking spot in U Village. This tape's going to run out before I find a parking spot in U Village. Then another place we used to skateboard, we used to go in the parking garage and we'd take the elevator up, and then you could the ramp, I don't know what it's like now, you could skateboard down. We had the security guys chasing us when I did that when I was younger. More of the UW there. So that's basically, they basically, you know, they screwed up the Seattle Center, they screwed up downtown, they overcrowded it, they didn't develop enough parking lots. You know about the public transportation. The light rail's a joke. We've already been through that in another video. They won't build a couple of subways that would alleviate the problem. Like 3 or 4 subways would just take care of 90% of all of this. Yeah. Socially, it got ruined. I'm trying to think of other ways that it got ruined. Yeah, here we are.